Does anybody disagree with the following statement? America has a right to limit how many people can come into our country.
Welcome to Liberty, Watchtower, your front row seat to the pulse of American politics. Here, we cut through the noise to bring you sharp, timely updates, in-depth analysis, and bold commentary on the issues shaping the nation. Whether it's breaking news from Capitol Hill or grassroots movements making waves across the country, Liberty Watchtower keeps you informed, engaged, and ready to think critically. Subscribe and stay tuned. Freedom starts with awareness. In recent years, immigration has remained one of the most divisive and high-stakes issues in American politics. The ongoing debate touches on national identity, public safety, humanitarian responsibility, and economic necessity. At the center of this conflict lies the question of how the United States enforces its immigration laws, particularly when it comes to individuals who enter the country unlawfully or remain after losing their legal right to stay. The transcript presented is from a U.S. Senate hearing, where lawmakers and expert witnesses gathered to discuss the state of immigration enforcement, border security, and the broader implications of current policy. The hearing is chaired by Senator Lindsey Graham, a prominent Republican and vocal advocate for stricter immigration enforcement. Throughout the session, Graham presses witnesses and officials on whether they support deporting the approximately 1.2 million individuals in the U.S. who have already received final orders of removal.
No.
Nobody disagrees with that. Good. Mr. Toure, very successful life. You have much to be proud of. During the 4 years of the Trump administration, were you ever, anybody suggest you should be deported?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. No.
Okay. Do you support deporting the 1.2 million people who have been through the system, have a final order of removal? Do you support them leaving?
Senator, I'm a prosecutor. I didn't ask you if you're a prosecutor. Do you support them leaving? I support people that have committed serious crimes.
Do you support the people who have gone through the system, been denied, had their day in court, final order removal? Do you support them leaving?
If you have
as a prosecutor, as a rule of law person?
If you have committed a serious crime in this country,
that's not the question. So is it your belief that every non-criminal in the world can come to America?
No.
How many people want to come to America that are non-criminals? Probably hundreds of millions, and I understand why. It's a great country. So my point is, if you're not willing to say that we're going to deport you after you've had your full day in court, you're facing a final order of deportation, we're going to incentivize people to come forever. Mr. Melnick, is that right? How many people did Ronald Reagan provide amnesty to?
Estimates are roughly 2.7 to 3 million.
How many illegal immigrants are in the country today?
I said roughly 13 million, although we don't know the exact
I would say
estimates.
that the last thing we want to do is give amnesty to people here now because we'll be overrun. Mr. Arthur, would you describe the last 4 years as mass illegal immigration coming to our borders?
I believe that that's fair characterization, Senator.
Does anybody disagree that the last 4 years has resulted in mass illegal immigration directed toward America? Because if this is not mass, what the hell would be? Now, how do you answer mass illegal immigration? You start enforcing the laws, Ms. Moran said, and you start sending people back who've had their day in court. You can't answer the question, and I respect you. You've been able to take the opportunity to make something of yourself, but we're passing on just constant disorder. If you can't say you should be deported after you've had a full hearing, everything been available to, and you lose, and it's hard to say you need to go, we don't have an immigration system. General, how many people have been deployed to the border by governors to assist and border security from the National Guard?
Sir, I don't have that information.
Okay, it's thousands. Is that illegal use of the National Guard?
It is not the illegal use of the National
It's legal, right?
Guard. That is correct.
Yeah, I agree with you there. What's the largest cause of death in America for young people? Does anybody know? Mr. Arthur.
Drug poisoning overdose deaths.
Coming from a drug called fentanyl?
That is correct,
Mainly?
sir.
Okay, where does that drug come from?
That drug, reports indicate that it's made from precursors that come from the People's Republic of China, assembled in Mexico, and largely smuggled into the United States over the Southwest.
General Manor, do you
That is, individuals who have gone through the legal process and been denied the right to remain in the country. Graham frames the issue starkly. Failure to remove individuals who have exhausted all legal appeals sends a signal that immigration laws can be ignored, thereby incentivizing continued illegal migration. He argues that this undermines the country's sovereignty and perpetuates chaos at the southern border. Others in the hearing express agreement with aspects of this argument, but also raise humanitarian and logistical concerns about large-scale deportations. Some witnesses stress the importance of focusing enforcement efforts on individuals who pose public safety threats, such as those with serious criminal records, while being more cautious about removing otherwise law-abiding individuals or families. The conversation also expands to broader themes, including the rise in fentanyl overdoses, which Graham ties directly to border security failures, and the use of National Guard troops by state governors to assist with immigration enforcement. Historical context is provided through a reference to President Ronald Reagan's 1986 immigration reform, which granted legal status to nearly 3 million undocumented immigrants, and comparisons are drawn between then and now regarding the risks of offering amnesty. Another deeply emotional layer of the discussion involves Dreamers, undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children and have grown up in American communities. While Graham and others express support for finding a solution for these individuals, they emphasize that no progress on that front can occur until the U.S. regains control of its borders. Ultimately, the hearing underscores the complex and often conflicting values at the heart of U.S. immigration policy, the desire to remain a nation of laws, the need to protect national security, the moral obligation to treat migrants humanely, and the practical challenge of managing millions of undocumented residents. As lawmakers grapple with these questions, the future direction of American immigration policy remains uncertain, polarized, and deeply consequential.
consider illegal immigration a national security problem?
I believe that it is something that ICE and CBT needs to address.
No, I ask you, is it a national security problem?
I think it's a concern, yes.
Okay, I do too. And they're the highest number of people on the terrorist watch list in our country today. At the end of the day, the number of people being killed in America by drug poisoning is coming from labs and cartels in Mexico. General Manor, does the president have the authority to attack a drug lab in Mexico that's making fentanyl to kill American citizens?
I am not a legal expert, Senator, and I do not know.
So here's what I would say. I think we need to be tough, compassionate, but end this crap. If you're trying to poison America, you're a drug cartel, your days are numbered. We're coming after you, hopefully working with Mexico. If you've had your full day in court and you lost, it's time for you to go and try to do it right. We have to break this endless cycle of having policies that entice people to come to our country illegally, because that is the lack, we're losing sovereignty and losing control of our nation. There are too many people being hurt from this out of control system. So how do you deal with mass illegal immigration? You start with mass deportation of people who shouldn't be here. Mr. Toure, I think President Trump was pretty clear about DACA. But what do we tell the kids who've been brought here in the last year who are 7 years old? Do you ever break this chain? So I'm hoping, Mr. Chairman, that once we regain control of our border and try to shut down the poisoning of America, we can have a logical rational discussion about Dreamers and others. But until we control that border, until we get control over the crime coming into this country, into the poisoning of America, that discussion cannot happen. I've worked with you and others for really decades to fix a broken immigration system. The way the Biden administration's handled this border problem has created a nightmare for our country. And there's a reason 70% of the people want deportations. It's not because they're mean. They want to bring order to chaos. Thank you.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for having this hearing. And I know that you've worked with Senator Graham in the past on the Dreamers issue, and I hope that work continues. And I would start with what you said, Mr. Arthur, just about how we don't know yet how this is